It's Stuart St Clair, it's Going Forward, and we have the amazing Angelique with us today. It's amazing because Angelique does more than one thing extremely well. In fact, she does lots of things extremely well, and she's terribly poor at talking about it. So I thought we would have a little time together in our library and do just that, talk about what she does and how she does it. So why she does it, all those exciting things. But welcome to the show, Angelique.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, you've flown in from Holland, so I'm very pleased that you've made the journey. Now, tell me, as a sort of first day job, you help companies find senior executives, don't you?
Yes, I've been doing that since I was 29. Now I'm almost 48, so almost 20 years now. And that was my normal job for many years. But then I decided I needed to do more things because there was more in me.
Yeah.
There was just more. I wanted more freedom. I wanted also multiple sources of income. Because if you actually study the rich people, they never have one source of income.
Absolutely right.
And I realized, I am very entrepreneurial as well. So I need a bit of a challenge in that respect.
So what did you decide to start doing as a second income stream, or another idea that you wanted to divert into?
The first thing I thought, which was that I was going to be a coach and a healer, and because that was what I was trained in. When I was interviewing people, I started to realize that I was just interviewing masks, and that to me became very boring at one point because I wanted to go much deeper, but I couldn't because I only had 1.5 hours for one interview, and then I had to write a report and advise my clients whether this CEO or this chairman was the right person for their roles. And then I thought I actually want to really be much more involved in the transformation of people, human potential, leadership assessment, etc. And that's why I started studying with all these different teachers, healing, but also, really coaching, different methods. And at one point in 2010, I really thought it's now or never, because by then I met somebody abroad in Spain. And I thought, I'd rather be with him, so many times of the month than have a long distance relationship. And I had enough courage to believe in myself and to say, actually, I'm now ready to set up my own practice. When I quit my job, it was very scary, but I immediately, because of everything that I had done by then, I was organizing workshops in the weekend while I was working almost full time. I immediately had 20 clients that were signed up to be in my workshops. So I had prepared to exit. And then that was my first full-time multiple income. But then I realized if I don't work, if something happens to me, if I get sick or if my mom gets sick, I need to take care of her. If I'm not physically doing the work, I'm not earning money. So I then, through maybe fate or through luck, met the current business that I'm partnered up with, and it's a company in the US, and they taught me all about working with a different business model, which is helping to create distribution networks in more than 48 countries with all these different business partners with the products that they produce. So what this means is that people don't need a lot of investment. They can start with one product, or they can start with a few products, but then they just start up and set up their own franchise in all different areas. They could start it from home, they could start it in their salon, they could do it as a mother, bringing kids to work. And so this is, I think, one of the other sources of income that I have, apart from the freelancing, headhunting.
I think you're underselling yourself a little, Angelique, because you don't just do those three things. I mean, you do the Ageless Gen, which is a wonderful thing for people to get involved with. I know you do freelance headhunting because once it's in your blood you can't stop, and she's a real hunter.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you do life coaching.
Yes. I'm not sure whether it's called coaching anymore because I guess it's
mentoring,
coaching.
maybe, I don't know.
I run a book club now because I really believe in lifetime studying. And I believe that you have to work on your mindset every day as if you're brushing your teeth. you're doing your skincare, you're brushing your hair, you also need to reprogram your mind for success every day. So I run a daily book club, and I'm not sure whether I'm coaching and mentoring, but we do processes from now and then, like once a week. We say, we're not just studying a book, we have to apply the book. So we look at all the participants and we say, what have you learned? Where do you get stuck? And then I really come up with a lot of tools. I guess that's coaching. I guess it is coaching.
It sort of is, but it's an unusual way of doing it, and uniquely you, I can imagine. Because
I love it.
I know you love and you love to get into the technical things.
Yeah. I could not do it. I miss it if I don't do it, and that is one of my other passions. It's spirituality and personal growth and transformation, and that is something, even if you didn't pay me, I would still do it.
So 3 things is probably about 5 in reality.
I'm also writing a book.
Yes, I was going to say. I was going to mention now you're not doing that in a normal way, are you?
No, I cannot.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you're writing your book?
So this sounds a bit weird, and I have a lot of people that don't agree with me when I explain to them that I channel the book, because they say, Angelique, you're the one writing it. I say no, because if you would sit me behind the computer and say, Angelique, write now, I wouldn't know what to write. I literally feel like there are sentences, they're being spoken to me, or they're being transmitted to me, and they will not leave me alone unless I go behind the computer and then I just write it, I type it in, and then I can go back to sleep. Otherwise it will keep me awake. And that's how I write. And very often I write it so quickly that my conscious mind is not really involved. So I don't feel that I'm the one producing it. It's like it's given to me, and it's given to me because I'm the one that can actually summarize it in a coherent way when we are editing it.
Actually, I think you'll find that what you're experiencing is a space called the liminal. It's the moment of when creativity suddenly becomes possible for people who are artists, sculptors, writers, when the formation of the idea or the communication of the idea just appears in your head and you can put it down. And there's in fact there's an actual book and an album of music coming out in the new year by Tallulah Rendell all about the liminal and what she does with that space. So I don't think you should think it's too strange that you suddenly get to an area where creativity happens and you can express it, because that's obviously within your creative persona to be able to do it. Some people may not recognise that they have it, but if we concentrate, and I know you do quite a bit of meditation,
yes,
it is a state where you sort of
are open and receptive.
Indeed, and therefore the ideas flow.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is though, is that I have written stuff that it had happened so quickly, and it was like somebody's speaking to me, or I'm being fed these words, because I am actually a very rational person, maybe a little bit, very super grounded. But when these things come to me, it sounds more like poetic, and it's very optimistic, and I am now taking on some of the characteristics of the positivity, but sometimes also writing about the darkness in our lives. But even that has a wise element to it, and I don't, and I'm just grateful that I can be a channel of expression. But I never force myself to finish a book. Like I am working with a lady in Holland. We're setting up an e-academy for the concept which is called What You Seek Seeks You. And she said, when are you ready? When are we finishing it? And I was like, I'm so busy with my other projects. I have no time to be receptive to the ideas coming to me. And we cannot force it, because once you force it, it's gonna die. You cannot force it. So I said, we need to wait until these projects are a bit finished and on the side, and then I can make space for it. Yes. And this is the caveat of running multiple projects, but especially with a creativity project like this, which I don't feel I'm the person pushing it. It comes to me when I'm ready, or maybe I need to go through certain life stages or transformation for it to come back to me again. I cannot define the timing of it. But I feel very grateful, because I think the world is ready to understand the concept of what you seek seeks you. I still don't understand it yet. I'm still channeling it, but I'm sure by the time that the book is out, I probably will have received a lot of pieces of information where I was supposed to be the person to bring it to the world. And of course everybody can then play with that concept themselves, but I felt I was not chosen, but I felt guidance that I had to do that, and I said yes because it felt so clear. Yes, you are going to do this, and I said okay. I just said yes. I communicate with the guides, so I don't know whether the audience believes in guides or angels, but I've really started listening to them because I feel that whenever I listen to the guides, which is not myself, which is like a higher, more intelligent force of being, I surrender and I can trust it.
But you actually write the words. It is you physically typing the words into your computer.
Yes.
So your involvement in this makes what you feel, what you sense, the words are Angelique's words to come across. And I think that's the interesting part, particularly of creativity, of any artist, and I'm sure artists that are viewing this will agree, that it's that moment in time when the spark that gives you the joy to be able to suddenly go, I know how this is going to be. And it happens with great paintings or great pieces of work, from Rodin's Les Baisers to the Mona Lisa. At one stage, that was a wonderful idea that suddenly came free, and they just produced that because they felt the freedom to do so. And I think it's wonderful that you're being able to communicate what you feel and what's coming to you in moments of great creativity, to express, well, things are actually going to not be good just for you, but for other people. And I think that's I don't think you can estimate how important that is. So we all hope that you keep going and finish it, and when you finished it, everybody will be able to read it and see how the words of Angelique changed my life or made me feel wonderful.
I'm very cautious to say they are my words because I don't feel they're thought up here. I feel like I'm just taking notes. When you're taking notes from somebody's telling you what to write. I feel that's what I'm doing. But probably there will be chapters that are taking into consideration my experience, where I feel my experience is adding a bit of a human dimension to really how that concept is being lived by the collective.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for the ordinary people, because you're doing the typing and you'll be doing the book
I'm the one
signings,
typing.
and the chronicles of Angela will be probably associated with, well, she wrote them down.
Yes.
She's a witch burner. No, don't burn her. She's far too precious. But please do come back and tell us more, because I know the book is going to fascinate some and astound others, and some people are just going to say, no, you can't do that. Well, she is, so here we are. Thank you for being here. You're a little wonder.
Thank you so much.